What's going on, YouTube, fam? It's your boy Tony 2 times, and we back with another episode of Hood Tales, man. Before I start, be sure to tap that like button. Definitely watch this video to the end so you can hear the full story and all the details in the case. For my day one fam, y'all already know it's all love. Thanks for tuning back into another episode. If you're new to the channel and you feeling the content, feel free to subscribe. Definitely hit that notification bell so you can be notified every time we drop a new video. Oh yeah, feel free to share the channel with your peoples. Everybody is welcome. With that being said, let's get right into the story. When most people decide to bring a baby into this world, they look at it like it's a blessing from the Most High. The joy new life brings and endless possibilities on who your child might become. For couples, it's usually planned. They sit down and agree they want a child. But even if it's not planned, as a grown man or woman, you definitely should know what happens when you handle grown-up business unprotected. While babies can bring out the best in most people, on the flip side of that, you have individuals who don't want kids at all. Whether they feel like they are a financial burden, too much responsibility, or they rather simply live their life with no attachments, which is nothing wrong with that. But once a child is conceived and a woman decides she wants to keep it because she has the final decision, as a man, you just have to prepare yourself even if you feel like you are not ready. You work hard, try to understand what it takes to be a father. And even if the relationship doesn't work out, at least a blessing came from it. But all men don't think like that. Some might want the woman to get rid of the baby. They might make threats, like I'm not going to be around if you have that child. And when a man decides he doesn't want that responsibility of raising a child, sometimes they will take drastic measures to make sure it doesn't happen. And on this episode of Hood Tales, we'll be taking it right outside of Cincinnati, Ohio, to discuss the case of a man who came up with a sneaky and evil plan to get rid of his baby mother on her due date. Back in 2023, 26-year-old India Kennemore was in the prime of her life. The beautiful young lady was described as loving, ambitious, a hard worker who made friends everywhere she went and loved people. She was the mother of a 6-year-old son who she adored and made sure she did whatever it took so he could have a good life and be provided for. India had a lot to be thankful for. She had her own place in Cold Rain Township, a suburb outside of Cincinnati. She was in a relationship with a 28-year-old man named Kavon Warren, and she was pregnant again with his child. The young lady was excited to be a new mother again. The couple both seemed happy, but eventually Kavon started asking India, "You sure you want to have this baby?" He felt like it was a lot and his money wasn't right at the time, so he told her he think they should wait. But she let it be known, no matter what, she was keeping her child. As India got later into her pregnancy, she was excited after realizing she was having another little boy. Her and Kavon even came up with names. And on March 4th, 2023, she was set to be induced so that she could have the baby. Around about 4 that morning, India's mother received a call from her 6-year-old grandson telling her he was hiding under the bed and he was scared because somebody had just shot his mother. She quickly called local police, who responded to the location to find India suffering from multiple gunshot wounds. And unfortunately, she wouldn't survive her injuries. Neither would her unborn baby. As police started an investigation, they couldn't figure out who would want to harm the young lady. She had no enemies. They spoke to Kavon, who seemed like he was really hurt and upset. He stated it was a robbery and break-in. Some people with masks and guns came in the house and shot India. Months would go by as the young lady's family was left to grieve. That would turn into years with no suspects or leads. But eventually, police took a second look at Kavon, the father of India's child. They were receiving tips that even though on the outside looking in, it looked like all love, Kavon really didn't want India to have a baby. He asked her multiple times not to go through with the pregnancy, and he was in contact with his ex-girlfriend, thinking about getting back with her. It made detectives scratch their heads even harder Once they realized, just days before the shooting, Kavon had requested bereavement leave from his job. They requested Kavon's phone records that showed the day India was shot. He was in contact with two men. At the time, 18-year-old Robert Irvin, who was his cousin, and Robert's half-brother, 20-year-old Lamar Suggs. A group text allegedly revealed Kavon telling the men he needed their help to get rid of India. He couldn't afford a baby, he had just lost his house, and he wanted to get back with his ex-girlfriend, who he was dealing with at the time. So he decided to wait until the day she was set to give birth. Text his cousin in code letting him know it was a go, and stage it as a break-in. Police also got phone records that showed both Robert and Lamar were by India's place the time of the shooting. Cameras from the area showed Robert sitting in the car as Lamar agreed to be the shooter. With that, 2 years after the incident, all three men were charged with 2 counts of first-degree hit and other charges. As India's mother saw Kavon at his first court date, she spoke out on how he knew what was about to happen. He set the whole thing up, didn't even care her grandson was home at the time, and even pretended to grieve. Kavon didn't have much to say and let his lawyer speak for him before being held on a $600,000 bond. His cousin Robert was also held on the same amount. Lamar was already in custody on weapon violations, on top of now facing the new charges. As of now, this case hasn't made its way to trial yet, and all three men are innocent until proven otherwise. Rest in peace to India. I send my prayers and condolences to her family. She did nothing to deserve this. She was looking forward to having her child. If the allegations against Kavon is true, you have to be a cold person to take the mother of your child and your own son. Lay in the bed knowing what was about to happen. If he didn't want the baby, bro could have just left, dealt with the child support, but now you are facing life in prison. And the other two, that was a dummy mission. They should have told Kavon, like, that's your problem, bro. But to allegedly go through with a plan like this is cold-blooded. But I want to leave this one open for discussion. Y'all let me know y'all thoughts on the situation in the comments. And remember, we gotta succeed, not to fail, so we won't be just another hood tale. Yeah, man, crazy story. Rest in peace, that young lady. I definitely send my prayers to her family. But I ain't gonna talk too much more about this one. I appreciate you if you made it to the end. This is another episode of Hood Tales. It's your boy Tony 2 times. Love, fam. I'm out.